Hey there. Welcome to Everyday English Pod. You know how it is, trying to stay on top of everything in the business world can feel like a constant race against the clock.
Oh, absolutely.
You want to really understand what's going on, not just skim the surface, but, well, who has the time to wade through mountains of information?
That's the challenge, isn't it? Getting to the core of the matter, understanding the strategies and the thinking behind them without getting totally bogged down.
And that's exactly what we're tackling today. We've got a fascinating set of real-world business conversations we're going to unpack for you. Think of it as getting a kind of behind-the-scenes look at how different companies are tackling key issues.
Yeah.
From launching new products to navigating tricky situations.
What's particularly valuable about these, I think, is that they're not theoretical exercises. These are actual professionals in, real business settings, making decisions and facing the consequences.
Right, exactly. So our goal today is to distill the most important insights from these discussions, the kind of stuff that can help you get a handle on a wide range of business topics, quickly and effectively.
It's like getting the essential knowledge without having to sit through all the meetings yourself, which, let's be honest, can be a lot.
Definitely.
And you'll see how different parts of a business, marketing, finance, operations, they all connect and influence each other.
Exactly. We're going to be looking at highlights from a bunch of different meeting types. We'll touch on a marketing campaign kickoff, dive into a financial review, explore a product roadmap discussion, and brainstorm ways to boost customer service.
And we'll also get insights from a global market expansion strategy session, a digital transformation kickoff, a conversation around sustainability.
Right.
And even a look at how a new remote work policy was discussed. Lots packed in there.
And there's more. We'll also peek into an innovation roadmap planning session and a crucial discussion around crisis management. So you're getting a really comprehensive overview, all drawn from these, authentic business interactions.
Sounds great. Where should we start?
Let's jump right into that marketing campaign kickoff. What stood out to you there?
Well, a 30% increase in brand awareness in just one quarter. That's certainly an ambitious goal. What makes that achievable and necessary for them right now, do you think?
That's a good question. It's aggressive.
It's interesting they secured additional funding so quickly, though, that suggests a high level of priority for this initiative, right?
It does. And their immediate pivot to digital channels, social media, influencers, targeted ads, that feels very much of the moment, doesn't it? What are your thoughts on that channel prioritization in today's environment?
Digital certainly offers a lot of reach and targeting capabilities. Their multi-pronged approach makes sense, but you do wonder if spreading resources across so many areas could dilute their efforts a bit. What are the potential downsides of not focusing maybe more narrowly?
That's a great point. I found their focus on micro-influencers interesting, measuring success through engagement, follower growth, and those unique promo codes. It feels like a more direct and potentially cost-effective way to reach specific audiences.
Yeah, definitely.
Compared to relying solely on, mega influencers.
Absolutely. It highlights that shift towards authenticity in marketing we keep seeing. And that data-driven approach to measurement is just key. You have to know it's working.
Totally.
Also, their targeting of millennials and Gen Z in urban areas for those display ads shows they've done their homework on who they're trying to reach. And retargeting is crucial for nurturing those initial leads,
Right. Don't let them get away.
Exactly. And the fact that they're on a tight timeline and have to report progress to the board given the investment really underscores the pressure to deliver results. No room for error there.
Okay, moving on to the Q2 financial review. This is where we see the tangible outcomes of strategies, right? The numbers. What were the big takeaways for you there?
The standout was definitely the tech division's strong performance thanks to a new sauce product. What specific features or maybe market timing do you think contributed most to that outperformance?
Good question. It could be a mix. Maybe they hit a real pain point or the timing was just perfect.
What's the broader lesson here about the power of sauce models in this industry for you?
It really highlights how product innovation can directly fuel financial success.
Yeah.
But the contrast with the underperforming healthcare segment due to regulatory delays is a stark reminder of how external factors can just throw a wrench in even the best laid plans.
Oh, for sure. Regulation can be a killer.
But their proactive consideration of shifting resources to their non-regulated products to offset that shortfall, that shows some real strategic thinking in the face of adversity, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's about being agile and adapting to changing circumstances. Their ability to manage expenses and even come in under budget due to reduced travel and office costs a common trend, right?
Yeah, we've seen that a lot.
While also increasing cybersecurity investment speaks volumes about their priorities in the current landscape.
Absolutely. You just can't afford to skimp on cybersecurity these days. It's non-negotiable. And their strong cash flow and improved day sales outstanding, that paints a picture of overall financial health, doesn't it?
It does. Healthy signs.
That confidence to suggest a 5% revenue target increase for Q3 based on this strong performance is definitely a good sign. Shows belief in the trajectory.
Now let's dive into the product roadmap discussion. Where did their priorities seem to lie? What was driving their decisions?
It really felt like they were putting the user first. They specifically mentioned gathering a lot of user feedback to guide their updates, especially that big UI overhaul.
That makes sense.
It's always a delicate balance, isn't it, between modernizing and keeping things familiar for your existing users. You don't want to alienate people.
It is a very tricky balance.
Yeah.
And their plan for usability testing, including A/B testing with a subset of users, that's a smart, data-driven way to minimize risk when making significant changes, like a UI overhaul.
Right. Test before you leave.
The excitement around those AI-powered features, like that predictive analytics tool, was definitely noticeable. What potential challenges do you foresee in implementing truly effective AI features like that? It's not always straightforward.
Well, data privacy and accuracy are always concerns with AI, right? And making sure it's actually useful. And not just like a gimmick is key. People see through that quickly. I thought their strategic partnership with a specialized AI firm to speed up development was a smart move, recognizing where external expertise can give them a boost instead of trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, why build it if you can partner? And they were clearly thinking about the budget implications, both the initial investment and the potential long-term cost savings. Gotta justify the spend.
Their cross-platform approach for the mobile app refresh using React Native, that's all about efficiency, right?
Yeah.
Build once, deploy more broadly.
Pretty much. And those platform-specific features like Apple Pay and Google Pay show they're paying attention to user convenience, making it seamless within the ecosystem.
Little things that make a difference.
Finally, proactively planning for the sunsetting of those legacy API endpoints and communicating that clearly to users, that's just good technical housekeeping, avoids nasty surprises down the line.
Definitely important. Okay, let's switch gears to the brainstorming session on enhancing customer service.
Yeah.
What were their initial pain points? What were they trying to fix?
Long wait times and inconsistent problem resolution, those are classic customer service frustrations, right? And the fact that they identified those through surveys shows they're actually listening to their customers, which is step one.
Good start.
Their consideration of an AI-powered chatbot for those routine inquiries to cut down on wait times, that's a common solution. But what are the keys to making a chatbot truly helpful and not just another source of frustration?
Oh, that's the million-dollar question. I think the natural language processing they mentioned is crucial. It needs to understand what people are actually saying, not just keywords.
Right. Understand intent.
And for those more complex issues, having that tiered support system with specialized agents makes a lot of sense. Escalate when needed.
That emphasis on comprehensive training, including those simulated customer interactions, that's where the rubber meets the road in terms of providing good service. Practice makes perfect, or at least better.
Absolutely. You can have all the tech in the world, but if your people aren't well trained, it doesn't matter, does it?
Not at all. I also like their focus on improving that feedback loop with real-time surveys and even those small incentives to encourage participation. Get that data flowing.
Smart. People need a little nudge sometimes.
Integrating feedback directly into the mobile app is just smart design too. Make it easy for people.
Yeah.
And having a dedicated social media team for customer service, that's almost a necessity these days, isn't it? People expect answers there.
It really is. It's a public forum.
Finally, tracking those key metrics like customer satisfaction scores, net promoter score, resolution times, that's how you measure if your efforts are actually paying off. Got to track progress.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to their global market expansion strategy. What were the crucial first steps they discussed? How do you even start something that big?
Carefully choosing target markets based on size, economic growth, and the regulatory landscape that's just foundational, Don't just throw a dart at a map.
Right. Do your homework.
Prioritizing Southeast Asia, specifically Singapore, as an entry point due to its favorable business climate that shows a strategic decision based on tangible advantages. It's a known hub.
Makes sense. What kind of competitive landscape do you think they're anticipating in that market, though? It's likely crowded.
Well, the fact that they already have a comprehensive competitor analysis report is key. You need to know who you're up against. Finding that gap in the market for their specific product, that's the sweet spot you're always looking for.
Yeah, that's the goal. And their consideration of cultural nuances for product localization and adapting their marketing, that shows the level of sophistication. You can't just copy-paste.
No, definitely not. Exploring partnerships with local firms to ease entry, that's often a very smart way to navigate unfamiliar territory. Leverage local knowledge.
Yeah, find someone who knows the ropes.
Setting that 12-month timeline with clear milestones provides a much-needed framework, keeps everyone on track. And looking at a mix of internal funds and potential investor capital for financing, that's a pragmatic approach. Keep options open.
Sensible.
Preparing those detailed 5-year financial projections is standard for investors, obviously, and shows they're thinking long-term. And finally, immediately thinking about hiring a local HR manager that highlights the importance of understanding the local talent market and, crucially, the legal requirements right from the start.
Very important piece. Okay, now let's talk about the digital transformation kickoff. What were their main objectives and how do they plan to get there? Big topic, digital transformation.
Yeah, huge. Streamlining operations, improving customer experience, and leveraging data analytics for better decision-making. Those are the big drivers for most digital transformations, wouldn't you say?
Pretty much covers it.
Their consideration of cloud computing, AI, and IoT solutions aligns with where technology is heading. But can you think of any potential integration challenges when implementing so many different technologies simultaneously? It sounds complex.
Definitely. Data silos are a classic problem, and just ensuring everything actually works together seamlessly can be a huge hurdle. It's easier said than done.
Right.
I thought there's specific mention of AI for supply chain optimization, demand forecasting, and inventory management. Provided some really concrete examples of how these technologies will actually be applied, not just buzzwords.
Yeah, practical applications. That phased approach to cloud migration over 18 months seems like a practical way to manage such a large undertaking, too. Don't try to boil the ocean.
Break it down.
And having that cost-benefit analysis already done, projecting significant long-term savings, that's crucial for getting buy-in from leadership and finance.
Yeah.
Show the value.
Absolutely. Cybersecurity was clearly top of mind again here, and their discussion around end-to-end encryption, multi-factor authentication, regular audits, it shows they're taking that seriously, as they should.
Critical. And addressing the human element with a change management program and involving employees through those cross-functional teams is vital for adoption. People have to come along for the ride.
Yeah, tech is only part of it.
And focusing on those customer-facing innovations, aiming for a more personalized experience through AI-driven analysis, that's key for staying competitive. Customers expect it now.
True. Finally, those plans for a digital literacy program for employees and tracking key metrics that shows they're looking at the big picture, upskilling their workforce. Establishing a dedicated digital transformation office really signals their commitment too.
Puts a focus on it. Okay, moving on to the sustainability strategy meeting. What were their initial priorities there? Seems like every company needs a plan for this now.
Yeah, it's becoming table stakes. Energy efficiency, waste reduction, and sustainable sourcing. Those seem like fundamental pillars of any serious sustainability effort, right? The basics.
Makes sense. Starting with energy audits of all facilities is a logical first step. Got to know where you stand. What kind of quick wins do you think they might identify in those audits? Low-hanging fruit?
Probably things like switching to LED lighting, optimizing HVAC systems, maybe simple insulation improvements, stuff that pays back relatively quickly.
Right. Implementing a company-wide recycling program and looking at eco-friendly packaging, those are tangible ways to reduce waste that customers often notice too.
Good point. Developing a supplier code of conduct with environmental standards and planning those regular audits. That's about extending their sustainability efforts throughout their entire supply chain, which is really important.
Yeah, it's not just your own operations. Addressing water usage and considering electric or hybrid vehicles for their fleet, those show a broader environmental consciousness, moving beyond just energy and waste.
And communicating all these initiatives through a sustainability report that's essential for transparency and engaging with stakeholders, investors, customers, everyone.
Gotta tell the story.
Now let's look at the discussion around the new remote work policy. Always a hot topic. What were the key factors shaping their approach?
Well, starting with that employee survey, showing a strong preference for a hybrid model that's a smart, data-driven way to begin, Ask the people actually doing the work.
Good idea.
Offering that flexibility of working remotely 2 to 3 days a week while still considering role-specific needs, that seems like a pretty common compromise these days. How do you balance the benefits of remote work with the need for, in-person collaboration and culture?
It's the constant balancing act, isn't it? I think their plan to have department heads assess role suitability allows for a more nuanced approach than a rigid one-size-fits-all policy.
Yeah.
Some roles just need more face time.
True. Providing secure VPN connections and collaboration tools like Slack or Teams is just table stakes these days for remote work. You need the infrastructure.
Absolutely. That stipend for home office setup shows they're acknowledging the costs employees incur, too, which is a nice touch.
Yeah, helps people get set up properly. Focusing on maintaining company culture through virtual team building activities and ensuring hybrid meeting options are equitable and inclusive, those are crucial for preventing a two-tiered system.
Very important. Training managers specifically to lead remote and hybrid teams effectively is also key. It's a different skill set.
Definitely. Shifting to a results-oriented performance management approach makes a lot more sense in a remote or hybrid setting than just tracking hours. Focus on output.
Right, and definitely consulting with legal on things like work hours, state laws, liability. That's an absolute must. Don't want any legal surprises.
No kidding. Planning to review the policy after 6 months shows a commitment to being adaptable too. Learn and adjust.
Okay, let's move on to the innovation roadmap planning meeting. What were their main goals for fostering new ideas? How do you actually plan for innovation?
Kind of an oxymoron, right? But their goals seem to be developing breakthrough technologies, improving existing products, and exploring totally new markets that covers a pretty wide innovation spectrum, from incremental to disruptive.
Yeah, a full range. The suggestion to use the 70-20-10 rule for resource allocation is a common framework for balancing different types of innovation efforts. Can you explain briefly what that rule typically entails?
Sure. It's generally roughly 70% of resources go to core business innovation, making what you already do better. Then 20% goes to adjacent innovation things related to your existing business, maybe expanding into a nearby area.
Okay.
And the final 10% is reserved for more transformational, potentially disruptive ideas. The big swings, the moonshots.
Yeah, that makes sense. Implementing an innovation time policy, sometimes called 20% time, allowing employees dedicated time for personal projects. That can be a great way to spark creativity from the ground up.
Yeah, unleash internal talent. Setting up an internal incubator with resources and mentorship provides a structured path for developing those promising ideas that come out of that time, or just generally.
Provide support. Looking at external partnerships with universities and startups that can bring in fresh perspectives and technologies you don't have internally.
Absolutely. Using clear criteria like technical expertise and, importantly, cultural fit for evaluating potential partners makes a lot of sense. You have to be able to work together.
Right. Measuring innovation success through patents, new product revenue, and return on R&D. Those are the hard metrics, the tangible outcomes.
Got to track the ROI. But also looking at things like customer satisfaction and market share gains gives a broader view of the impact. It's not just about patents.
True. And fostering a culture of innovation through challenges, incorporating it into performance reviews, maybe having an innovator award. Those are all about incentivizing and recognizing creativity, making it part of the DNA.
Making it valued. Protecting intellectual property is obviously crucial as those innovation efforts hopefully ramp up too. Got to protect your creations.
Definitely. And finally, let's consider the crisis management strategy session. What were the key elements of their preparedness? Planning for the worst, hoping for the best.
Exactly. Proactively identifying a wide range of potential crises, everything from natural disasters to cyber breaches to PR nightmares that shows they're thinking ahead, not just reacting.
Broad scope, prioritizing response planning based on likelihood and potential impact. That's a smart way to focus their limited resources. Deal with the most probable and damaging first.
Makes sense. Forming a core crisis management team with representatives from different key areas like legal, comms, operations, and having designated alternates ensures clear leadership when things actually go wrong. No confusion about who's in charge.
Crucial. Having clear protocols for internal and external communication, including pre-approved holding statements, that's essential for controlling the narrative and avoiding misinformation in the heat of the moment.
Speed and accuracy are key there. Their proactive social media monitoring and having a trained response team is vital in today's instant communication environment. Bad news travels fast online.
Faster than ever. Conducting those quarterly crisis simulations or tabletop exercises, that's like practicing for a game, making sure everyone knows their role and the plan actually works under pressure.
Practice, practice, practice. Developing detailed business continuity plans for critical functions, things like remote work enablement, data backup, and recovery, is all about minimizing disruption to the actual business operations.
Keep the lights on. Measuring the effectiveness of their response after a crisis and having a formal post-crisis review process allows them to learn and improve for next time, because there often is a next time.
Always learn from mistakes or even successes. And that commitment to an annual review of the entire plan with ad hoc updates as needed ensures it stays current and relevant. Things change.
Good point. Even providing basic crisis response training to all employees can empower everyone to react appropriately and know who to contact rather than panicking or saying the wrong thing.
Yeah, everyone has a role to play.
So, wow, you just gotten a really concentrated dose of insights from a super diverse set of real business conversations there.
We covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, from the nitty-gritty of marketing tactics to the big picture strategic thinking of global expansion, and even those crucial plans for when things, inevitably go wrong. These meetings offer a fascinating window into how organizations operate day to day.
It really highlights how interconnected all these different functions are within a business, doesn't it? Marketing decisions impact finance, operations impact customer service, tech underpins everything.
Absolutely. It's all linked. Now, thinking about everything we've covered, you, the listener, might be finding that certain topics resonate with you more than others right now, based on what you're dealing with.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe you're gearing up to launch something new so that marketing kickoff or the innovation roadmap discussion really caught your attention. Or perhaps you're focused more on the financial health of your own endeavors, making that Q2 review particularly insightful.
Or maybe you're considering ways to better serve your customers, adapt to new ways of working like hybrid models, plan for future growth internationally, or just ensure you're prepared for unexpected challenges with crisis planning.
Right. Revisiting specific parts of this exploration, maybe focusing on one of those meeting types, could give you some valuable food for thought and maybe even spark some new ideas for your own situation.
Definitely worth considering.
So here's something to really chew on as we wrap up.
Yeah.
Looking across all these different business discussions we've touched on, marketing, finance, product, HR, strategy, crisis. What common threads did you notice? What fundamental principles or approaches seem to be consistently important for effective leadership and organizational success, no matter the specific challenge or opportunity?
That's a great question to ponder. Things like communication, data-driven decisions, emerge. It's a question worth mulling over, for sure.
It is.
And if you found this exploration helpful in cutting through the noise and getting to the heart of these business topics efficiently, be sure to keep tuning in to Everyday English Pod for more ways to stay informed.
Thanks so much for diving in with us today.